take too, I think. I mean, the first time that I've started over, there's some good bloopers in the first take, so we'll probably see a bloopers reel at some point. Some of you that know me really well aren't going to be surprised by that either. But anyway, my name is Jessica or Jessie or Master Chickenfoot or Biscuit, you know, just whatever you feel comfortable with that's not offensive or super inappropriate. Well, maybe the inappropriate, but we can discuss that later on an individual basis. At work, like they say, we'll take it offline. Anyway, look, I'm already 49 seconds in and didn't even take me a minute to start rambling. So what am I doing here? I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just see other people with podcasts and vlogs, and I thought that could be fun. And there are a couple of crazies out there that I know, crazy as me, who said that they'd like to see me do a vlog, probably just so they can laugh at me, but that's okay too. So anyway, this is just going to be a space for me to share different updates in my life with the different projects I've got going on, and maybe even provide some comic relief and some great resources for other folks that I find along the way. So I want to start out with just talking a little bit about the shop that I'm getting ready to open up, probably on Etsy. I got the idea of just making my own project bags because I saw the prices of some project bags and I was a little shocked at how much they cost, especially now that I make them and I know how quickly, you know, you can make them. Although the materials, I will give them this, the materials can be expensive if you don't have a great resource like I do with Scrap RVA, who sells items, donated items, art supplies at a really low cost. So if you live in Richmond, check out Scrap RVA. That place is amazing, especially if you're a crafter, knitter, whatever. Anyway, so I want to start making my own project bags and some other stuff. I'm not going to give everything away right now. I actually just posted one on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure I get that in there. Isn't it pretty? I love this bag. It's got pockets on the inside. I don't know how to make the camera work for me so that you get to see the inside. So I'll either edit a picture in or you'll just have to go check out my Instagram account. I feel like I'm talking so fast. I wonder if I should start over again. I think I'm going to. I don't know. No, I'll keep going. Anyway, shop opening date. I have an idea of that date in my head, but I'm not going to say it out loud yet because I already know there are some people that want to buy bags and I don't want to get their hopes up if it takes me a little bit longer to build up my inventory than I think it is. One other design that I want to show you that's definitely going to be in the shop. I just haven't decided if I'm going to angle the top of it or not, but this bag was the one that kind of inspired that. This is a much taller project bag, and look at that fabric, you guys. I don't know why I keep leaning over like I need to see the camera, but this fabric is just incredible, and I got a decent amount of it too. So I wanted like a really tall bag because I've been obsessed with knitting dishcloths when I need just like a simple, relaxing project. And I followed in the footsteps of the crazy sock lady and bought some cones of dishy yarn, which we'll get into in a little bit. And so I needed a larger bag to carry around these larger cones and larger projects. Now I'll probably put handles on this one, but I love it so much. I really do. I love this bag. I love everything about it. So look out for that one too. There's going to be a small, medium, and large option for at least those two designs. I don't know about some of the other bags I'm making. I'll reveal some of those a little bit later because I got to tweak a few things on them. I think that's it for the shop update. Like, I've seen a mock-up of the logo, and there may or may not be a handful of people that I have consulted about it, but I'm not ready to reveal it because number one, you need to pay the artist for the logo. And number two, it's just not time yet. Make you guys wait. Anticipation is a good thing sometimes. So anyway. Oh, the shop name. That would probably be a good idea. So I'm calling it Vestige by G, not vestige, Vestige. It's a French word. And it means something that's almost been reduced to nothing or a relic. So the idea is that I take supplies from local businesses and nonprofits like Scrap RVA and thrift stores, and I repurpose them to make my products. And so I thought that that name was really fitting. And the by G part, well, G is one of my nicknames. Really, only people in my family call me that, but I guess not anymore. But it turns out that that name is used, Vestige is used by other companies, so I needed to kind of make it my own. So I'm excited to open the shop and be able to use, you know, kind of like my personal touch on it. And the logo is gorgeous. I'll reveal the artist and the logo very soon, hopefully, probably in the next 2 weeks. You guys will get to see it. So I think that's it for the shop update. Just keep an eye out because it's not just going to be for knitting project bags. Like, I want it so that other artists are, that can use these bags, or not even just artists, like little travel bags or you know, stuff to just put your junk in. Not your junk. Put pretty things. Put pretty things in the bags, not junk. Anyway, we're gonna move on now. God, I hope this is going well. I really don't want to record this again. So I have show notes, and apparently it's a thing to like be like, hey, it's my first podcast and I have show notes. So here sometimes we're fancy. And so on my show notes, I think I'm gonna skip my funny story because I want to tell you about this tea that I'm drinking. Like I said, this is about a lot of different stuff. I don't remember who made the mug, but the mug's really pretty too. It was a local artist. I got it at the South of the James Market a couple months ago, and it's my favorite mug to drink tea out of, and I love drinking puka tea. I'm gonna just show you guys puka, and this is the elderberry tea. My favorite of theirs is the Relax, and it's a chamomile tea, and it's like my #1 favorite tea. But I need to stay awake during this, so I picked my second favorite. So if you love herbal teas, Puka, P-U-K-K-A, they're amazing. And this elderberry tea is so good. So just, you know, random fun fact. There'll probably be a lot of those. They won't always be fun, but there will be lots of randomness and rambling, kind of like what I'm doing now. Hopefully I'm mumbling. I mumbled that so much you won't catch it all. Anyway. Okay, here's my funny knitting story. I thought it would be fun to share this. So I'm a little bit of a klutz. And I know that there are folks that are going to comment on that and say that's an understatement. Whatever, we can argue about that later. Anyway, I'm a little bit of a klutz, and pretty much anything that seems like it could be safe, I can make it dangerous, but not like in a fun, dangerous way. Not like fun, dangerous, like dangerous, dangerous. So anyway, so I was making a shawl, I guess this was a couple months ago now, and I was using my Chiaogu lace needles to make this shawl. And lace needles, for those that you don't know, are super, super, super thin. I mean, it should probably sound like it's super thin. They're lace needles, right? Anyway, super thin. At the time, I was storing projects in baskets. So if I was doing a project, I had different baskets. It created a mess. There's freaking baskets everywhere. And then one evening, I discovered another reason to not have my needles and my projects in the basket. So these lace needles, one end of these needles slipped through the basket weave and was sticking up. Again, really thin, really sharp needles. Like, that's one great thing about the Chiago needles, is that I love the precision that you can get with them. But they're very sharp, especially the smaller the needle gets. So I didn't realize this, and I was walking through the living room, and I may or may not have stepped on this needle that was sticking straight up out of the basket. And it went right into the ball of my foot. Yeah. I could almost hear some of you gasping, and I haven't even published this video yet. It was bad. I was bleeding. I have literally bled from my knitting now. It sounds cooler and more hardcore if you didn't just hear the story I told. But yeah, it was bad. I had a circular bruise around the spot the next day, and was kind of limping around, and it was just no good. So that gives you an idea of how I can make anything treacherous and dangerous, and how much of a klutz I really am. Like, if klutzy people would just pay attention a little bit more to like their surroundings and environment, I feel like we'd be safer in the world, and the world would be safer from us. But that's my klutzy story this time. I've got so many. Maybe that's what I need to do, is like one of these stories every time. Although, I don't know, we're already at 12 minutes and you guys haven't even like heard about my knitting projects. So that's kind of like my warning to the folks that aren't the hardcore knitters, or are just kind of done with this already. The friends of mine, they're gonna watch and they're gonna be like, it's time to just do something else now. Anyway, so that's my funny knitting story. So that'll be my segue into showing you the different projects that I've done. So we're gonna start with finished objects. Let's start with this cowl that I made, and I don't remember whose pattern this is. It's called the Bobble Cowl, and I'll link that Ravelry link below after all of this, because I loved knitting that. I loved it and I didn't love it. And let me explain. So it's beautiful. The yarn is beautiful. It's hard to tell in this light, but there are these like lines of little yarn overs, and there are these cutesy little bobbles on the side, and this yarn just I haven't even blocked this yet, you guys. Like, for all you non-knitters, blocking, you dampen it, get it wet, whatever, lay it out flat, use pins, blockers, whatever. Basically, you're just shaping it. Let's just say it that way for those of you that don't know and don't care. Shaping it. So I haven't even blocked this yet. And the drape on it is just gorgeous. Like, look at that. And the colors are fantastic. Anyway, love the colors. I love how soft this yarn is. It's part silk and part wool. And it's so pretty. And it's a commissioned piece that I probably should have mailed like 3 weeks ago. But I haven't, because even though like in some parts of my life, I will just dive headfirst into something and be like, screw it, let's just try it. And then other things, I just overanalyze and overthink it. This podcast was an overthinking moment. It's taken me weeks just to sit down and say, let's figure it out. Anyway, so I gotta mail this out soon, and I'm gonna do it now that I've shown it off in my podcast, because I really wanted to show it off. But it took forever. And it was one of those things where, like, I started it, I got halfway through it, and I just didn't want to finish it. And yes, that does happen to those of you that have just started out and haven't experienced it yet. And the reason is because I thought I bought a thicker, heavier weight for you knitters, a thicker yarn than I actually purchased, which means the knitting time was almost twice as long as it should have been. And this said fingering, and I'll link my Ravelry project page, because I do love the yarn. I'm just never going to do a project like this with it. It should be light fingering, almost lace. But I'm glad it's done, and I think the person that's going to get this is really going to love it. So I'm excited I finished it. Anyway, then I got obsessed with knitting socks. I just decided I needed to learn how to knit socks. And I just can't stop knitting socks now. And like every yarn that I get in the mail from like these fabulous yarn clubs, we'll talk about those too. Like I see them and I'm like, I have to make a pair of socks out of those. So my very first pair of socks, I was looking up on YouTube how to knit socks, and I found the Crazy Sock Lady. And she just did such a great job between the patterns. They're called vanilla socks, and a couple different knit designers have their own version of vanilla socks. But, you know, they're just not very difficult to knit. And she made it so accessible because not only did she publish her pattern for $2, which is a great price, but the video takes you through every single step. So if you don't know what you're doing, or you've been frustrated every time you tried to knit a sock, watching her videos on how to knit socks is absolute perfection. And she's got some great designs on Ravelry too. And I like her podcast. I do. I just enjoy listening to her podcast and knitting. So anyway, you probably want to see the socks I'm talking about. So I made these. Now, there are two, but my other blocker is being held hostage by another pair of socks I haven't finished yet. But this was the very first sock that I knitted. Well, this one or its twin. I don't know which one was first, but it's the first pair. And this yarn was, it's called, I think, the Northern Cardinal. I should probably double check on that too. Clearly I need to make more detailed show notes. But the dyer is Cornbread and Honey Yarns, and I love their stuff. I could just eat it. It's so pretty, except I don't because that'd be gross. But I love their yarn. They're just such an artist when it comes to the color combinations they put together. I actually almost lost the first. Let me rephrase that. I was almost a victim of a crime with my very first sock. I was knitting the second one, and I let my friend Scott try the first sock on because our feet are about the same size, and I wanted to prove it to him by letting him try the sock on so that I could show him that I can knit socks for him, no problem. And that MFR, I haven't decided if I'm gonna let you guys hear like the full-on sailor mouth that I have on my podcast yet. Anyway, he wouldn't give the flippin' sock back. Well, I got the sock back. And no, Scott, I haven't started on your socks yet, but we'll talk about that in a minute, because I will. Like, once you get on the project list, you are on the project list. And he probably doesn't believe me, but then that just makes it a better surprise when socks show up in the mailbox for him. Anyway, yeah, I almost lost the very first sock. Very first sock I knitted was almost stolen. I need to stop saying lost. Because lost implies that I misplaced it. It was stolen for like this amount of time. Then, okay, so we're gonna move on from that. I'm over it now. I think that I've said it out loud and recorded the story. So I told you that I love the crazy sock lady. She just comes up with really good project ideas too. Like she has Scrappy Sunday where we take everyone who wants to play along, just knits with their leftover yarn. And that's a lot of fun too. I'm making Cozy Memories blanket and I'm embarrassed at how much I've done, so I'm not going to show you that. But anyway, she also started knitting dishcloths, and she introduced me to Knit Picks Dishy Yarn, which funny enough, I just like give stuff away almost as soon as I make it. So I've been told that the dishcloths and the material have held up really well. But I have also been knitting dishcloths. I finished these two. I don't remember what color they are in Knit Picks, and the color is showing up weird on the camera. Let's see. Dishcloths. These are Grandma's favorites. They're very simple. Just increases and decreases. You can do it with little holes, which I actually like. I think it's cute, or without. So I'm making this set for a friend of mine, and I've got 2 more colors that I'm gonna do, and I thought it'd be cool to do a set where like one's solid, one's got holes, one's solid, one's got holes. I don't know what that was. Hopefully a lot of people have just kind of stopped watching at this point. I don't know. Anyway, if I even publish this, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, which is like great. So now I got like 30 minutes that I've got to watch of myself. Like, how do people do this? I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, then I made this one, which I should have known better, you guys. Like, you can't, if you're gonna do a pattern that has like a picture in it, you can't do yarn like this. It needs to be solid, but I did it anyway. And whatever, I wasn't gonna rip it out, but it's supposed to be a unicorn. I don't know if you can tell. You can't really tell. You can't tell, which is a shame because it's super cute. So I'm gonna have to do solid colors for the unicorns and just like a straight up plain washcloth with the rainbow yarn for this set. And then this one, people that know me, even for a second, know that I'm obsessed with New Orleans. And I've been missing it a lot this year. Jazz Fest was canceled and I'm really heartbroken. I've gone for a few years in a row now, and I'm even wearing my Jazz t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Jazz. Anyway, you don't care. But I was missing it a lot today, in particular for some reason. So I started, gosh, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can. So this is a Mardi Gras mask in a washcloth. How cute is that? So I'm doing a Mardi Gras themed washcloth set, and the person that I'm making that set for, like, I just totally gave it away, but whatever. They're still gonna be just as excited even though they know what they're getting. So there. That's all I've really got for finished objects right now. Like I said, I just kind of give stuff away. So a lot of the stuff that I finished this year, yeah, I've given it away to people. So you can go to my Leftover Biskit Instagram account if you're really that interested, or my Ravelry page if you're that interested in seeing my finished objects, which I think I need to update that. I don't know. I was great at, you know, the whole like Ravelry housekeeping thing until I decided to take on 20 other projects. So, moving on. Oh, what is that? Have you guys been looking at that the whole time? Yikes. You don't care. Why do I care? You don't care. Anyway, so let's talk about whips. Works in progress for you non-knitters. We're not talking about like fetish whips, okay? I mean, you can keep your mind in the gutter, but you're going to be disappointed if you stay there. Okay. Now that we've cleared that up, little housekeeping there. Let's just keep going with dishcloths because I don't know. I've done a lot of those lately. This one, you can't really tell what it is right now, but it's eventually going to be a kitty cat. So that's another set for someone else, is a kitty cat set of dishcloths. And so with the 4 sets, what I'm doing is I knit 1 for each set because and I found that this is true for a lot of knitters now. We can't just work on one project. There's gotta be, I think I was watching a podcast recently and this person had 25 works in progress. That's a lot. I don't know if I could handle that. That's a lot. But like their day job is dyeing yarn, I think. So, well, I don't know how much time that takes. So I don't know. Like they have more time on their hands. Maybe they don't. I could be totally wrong. So I take it back. But anyway, this is the cone of yarn. Can you see? Maybe one episode I'll just sit and see. Let's see how long that'll stay on my head. Do you guys, is that too distracting? It probably is, but I'm gonna do it anyway. See, now you're regretting. Whoa, it's about to fall. Now you're regretting sticking around because you're like, what is this girl doing? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just goofy and it's late and I'm tired. And this is the time I thought it would be like the perfect time to record. I don't know. Okay, that's not gonna stay. All right. Got sidetracked. Let's keep going with the works in progress. Yeah. So moving along, I'm making these socks and I'm so excited about them. These are for me, not for you, Scott. Haven't started yours yet. Taking them with me to the beach. These and yours that haven't been started. But there's a couple reasons that I love these socks. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this beautiful design. There's like this flower. Maybe I shouldn't have kept this on the block. But there's like this pretty little flower and these leaves. And then there's the roots to the flower. Now I kind of wish, and they warned you of this, but I wasn't really sure how much length I was gonna have. I wish the color change had been like here, but it is what it is at this point. So they're just absolutely beautiful. I love these socks. Actually, the designer, and these are the little wilderness socks. I'll link these down below too. I'm sitting really close to the camera. I'm crowding you. Sorry about that. Sorry. Anyway, everything that this designer has for socks is just gorgeous. Just really well thought out patterns, really well written patterns too, and the designs are so pretty. But the other reason I love these socks is because I've combined yarns from my 2 favorite dyers. Now at the top, right here, this is Glow by the Coast to Coast Yarn Company. And let me just gush a little bit here. Their yarn is so wonderful. And their color choices are just incredible. And I think next time I'll probably just show you some of the stash that I've got, because I've got some gorgeous stuff. Although you're about to see most of my stash from them in this video. They are dyeing a collection from, like, it's inspired by the show Ratched on Netflix. Love that show, and the colors of this yarn are incredible. And the colors in the show, like the cinematography and the colors and the acting in the story, all of it's great. If you're squeamish at all, don't watch it, but you should watch it. Anyway, so I'm gonna go broke over that collection, I think, but I just have to have it. Anyway, this was their August Yarn Club color, Glow. And I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah. So it's got like blues and oranges and golds, and the photo, the teaser photo for the Mr. Yarn Club was a picture from the beach. So I thought it would be cool to pick up these blues. I don't remember the colorway set, but this is from Cornbread and Honey. And it was a mini skein set that I bought. And I'm using two different blues. One blue on this sock, and then another blue that's sort of close to this one on the other one. One, because I thought that would be fun, and it looks like I'm dipping my foot from the ocean into the water. And two, because it's a mini set and I didn't go far enough with the glow, I'm not gonna have enough to use the same color. Whatever, just makes them more fun. The other work in progress. So this yarn, I've been excited to use it for a while, and I finally figured out, like, actually, let me be honest. I saw these two colors for this collection and I immediately knew what I was gonna make and who I was gonna make them for. I'm not going to expose the who, although they'll probably have the socks before I post this video, but just in case. These socks are turning out so well because I fixed all of the holes and mistakes that I made in them. So you can't see it. I just used the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock pattern for this, and then I switched colors every 10 rows. And I'm using, this is another tip I got from the Crazy Sock Lady. I used these to help me count my rows, but also I use them to help mark my beginning of round. And just makes life a lot easier doing it that way. So I bought a huge set of these. I don't remember where, but anyway, that's why they're like all these things on there, because I haven't finished the other sock yet and I want to make sure I get the same number. But anyway, this yarn is Turkey Tail and this one is Redwood. And so what Coast to Coast Yarn did was they created a collection based off of mushrooms. So Turkey Tail looks like this, y'all. These are, these colors right here, you find those colors in Turkey Tail. Who would have thought? So anyway, this yarn is just beautiful. Like, it looks really pretty on the video, but it's even prettier in person. I love these socks. And I'm working on the second one now, but see, like, I'm changing it up, right? So I'm making the cuff blue, the cuff, the heel, and the toe blue on sock number 2, just to make it fun. And I know that there are a lot of different ways to knit socks, but seriously, I'm addicted to double pointed needles. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's more fun. A lot of people wouldn't agree with me, and that's okay. You got to do you. But I heart these. I heart them. So there. I also have been carrying around in this project bag that I made before I decided on the angle design. And this, like, the fabric had like a little bleach spot on it, so it's not one that I'm gonna sell, but you know, I needed to learn how to sew on my machine. So now I'm just using that bag. Okay. So last work in progress, and then I want to talk about blogs and my upcoming beach trip. And then I'm gonna go because I have a feeling at this point I've probably lost most of my audience. That's okay. I mean, I don't mind talking whether someone's listening or not, so whatever. Leave if you want. And I hate this because I forgot who the designer is, but I'll link it below. I think this is the Good Times shawl. And it looks better when it's done and blocked, but I'm gonna show you anyway. So again, this isn't blocked, so don't judge me because it will look better. So anyway, I got this yarn actually from Scrap RVA. I don't remember what kind it is. I don't have the slightest idea. You just get what you get there, you know, whatever they have. Sometimes there's labels on it, sometimes there isn't. But I thought that these two colors, although they're not coming out super well in the camera, this is actually like a navy blue. This is more like a pinkish purple. I need to work on lighting for next time. But anyway, there's like these really cool baubles. I don't know if you can see them. And normally, like, for those of you that know, baubles are made by like creating 4 stitches, you know, they're not super fun. This one, you make 7 stitches and you use a crochet hook to finish off the bauble, and it's super fun. It really is super fun. And these are on my licky needles. Okay. This is a side note. I want to do a video at some point of like my favorite needles to use, and I have this set. I'll show them to you because like just the needles themselves, they're so freaking pretty. And they're great for like super slippery yarns because they're wood, which means they create more friction. So anyway, they're so pretty. So pretty. And I got these on sale. Sadly, because the store was closing, an Etsy store was closing. So I got these on the cheap. Well, for a circular needle set. Anyway, I was like, well, if I'm gonna do a review, I have got to figure out how to say the name. Like, I wanted to call them like needles. See? L-Y-K-K-E. So I was like, well, that's a fun way to say it, but I don't want to pronounce it wrong. This is the overthinking part. I literally researched how to say the name of these needles for about 15-20 minutes. Folks, turns out it's licky, and it's Swedish, Danish. I don't know. I'm just making this up. It's in another language. I don't even remember what the word means, but I did look it up, I swear. You pronounce it licky, and I giggled for at least 5 to 10 minutes on that. Like, I'm trying not to laugh right now. Anyway, those are the needles I'm using for these. And I started this like back in August, and guess how much I've done since August? Nothing. I did this the last time I was at the beach, and now I really want to finish it because I figured out who it's gonna go to. They already know, so it's okay that it's a spoiler alert, but they don't like being cold, and they live somewhere where it's gonna get cold not too long from now. So I gotta finish this eventually because I want them to be able to wear it when it starts to get really chilly. You know, the only other thing that I've got in process that's been very, very slow, this is so bad. I can't remember all the names to all this yarn, but I love Yarn of the Month clubs. And I found yet another one to join. and it's by Expression Fiber Arts. They have tons of free patterns. Like every time they release a pattern, it's like free for a week on their website, and they have great tutorials. I actually used one of their tutorials to knit continental style, which, by the way, I knitted English style for like a year, 10 years. Learned continental this past year, and I knit so much faster, and it's easier with ribbing because, well, that's another video. Anyway, this yarn. It doesn't show up super well in the camera, but I think it's called Spooky. I don't know. It's just got like these hints of like a brownish orange and almost like gray purple, and it's like great Halloween yarn. So I'm combining that with this like fuzzy alpaca yarn to make my first ever pair of fingerless mitts. But I haven't gotten very far at all. These are my Xiaogu double pointed needles. Love them. Love, 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 love. Love. I just love how pointy they are. I don't know why that makes me laugh. But it's just, folks, it's a precision thing. Like, I think it's much better than the other double pointed needles that I have. So anyway, fingerless mitts. Don't remember the name of that pattern either. I'm so bad at this, but I'll link everything because I've got like my table right now. It's just full of all of this stuff, and I'll make sure you have it all. I don't know what that was, but anyway, okay. Works in progress, whatever. There you go. You have it. So, looking at my show notes. The next two things will go quickly because I'm already at like 40 minutes recording. Hopefully I'll cut a decent amount of this out, but I don't want this to go on forever because I feel like I've probably, again, lost a lot of people. So I wanted to mention, I have really gotten into watching blogs on YouTube. People keep calling, or podcasts, I guess. People call them podcasts, but I thought podcasts were just audio, but I guess they're video too. I don't know. Anyway, my favorites on YouTube, well, I've mentioned the Crazy Sock Lady a few times now, so I feel like she needs no other introduction. Like, and then there is the Gentle Knitter, and she picks a lot of colors and projects that even if I don't see myself knitting the same projects that she's knitting, her color choices are just some of my favorites. She really picks some of the same stuff that I would pick. And the name kind of speaks for itself too. Like if it's a rainy Sunday morning, I want to watch one of her podcasts. She's just very sweet and has a very calming presence and very talented. So I would highly recommend her if you need one to just, you know, chill and see some really pretty fuzzy knitty stuff. Yeah, I highly recommend her. And then I just found a new one today. It's new to me. I don't know how new the podcast is, but I've literally, like, instead of making bags like I should be, I've been knitting and watching her podcast. And it is the fourth Star Knits. And I watched episode 1 and she had me laughing out loud. She's just a scream. And she's very honest about the patterns that she knits, which I find refreshing, because it's like people that write patterns and people that give directions. Like some people are fantastic with it and some people just need to do some soul searching. You know what I mean? Thank goodness for like GPS, although sometimes that can fail you too. So anyway, she's awesome. I love her accent. I love the projects she chooses. I love the yarn that she chooses, and I just think she's hilarious. And I feel like I'm sitting like with my best friend knitting and listening to her. I don't know. She rambles like I do, so maybe that's, but like it's either funny or interesting, so it doesn't matter that she's rambling, right? Right? But she doesn't do that the whole time. In fact, I think she calls herself out more than she actually does it. But yeah, I find her super entertaining, super talented, and just a great podcast. Oh my gosh, and she sings. You guys are not going to get that from me. But she records songs and plays them at the beginning and the end of the videos, and she's got this beautiful voice. So that's really nice too. So anyway, and she dishes out some pretty great resources as well. So anyway, the last thing, and I swear this is it, unless I have to record this again. I'm gonna go back and count how many times I said that. And if I can figure out my video editing software, I'm gonna drop it right here. So I'm going to the beach next week. And it's a family trip, sort of. Still gonna maintain some sort of social distancing, I guess you could say. But so tonight I was like, well, I need to figure out what knitting projects I'm gonna take with me. Listen, you would think, and I did this last time too, you would think that I was gonna be gone for half a year. And in fact, I pretty much know which projects I'm actually gonna get to do while I'm there. Like I could probably take like 2 or 3 projects with me and still not finish them. And I'm taking your socks, Scott. So yours is like the 3, one of the 3. Just saying. You don't have to believe me. It's okay. I will enjoy proving you wrong. So anyway, I brought a lot more than that. I mean, like half of my skeins for dishcloths. Yo, let's be real. I keep looking at the wrong side. The camera's lens is over there and I'm looking over there. Okay, it's real talk time. I'm not gonna knit all this stuff, but I'm not unpacking what I packed. So I guess it's not really a talk, it's more of a confession, and I'm not sorry. And I know that if another knitter watches this, they're going to be supportive of those decisions. So just gonna leave that there. And you know, I think I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna watch this. I can't believe I've been talking this long. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out. And see if anybody actually watches it other than me. All right. Well, this has been interesting. And maybe I'll see you later. Although I'm not seeing anybody because I'm just sitting alone in my apartment talking to myself. So maybe you'll see me later. There you go. All right, bye-bye.